Okay, so this is really similar to adding scientific notation. So the steps are the same. So first thing you need to get is a common exponent. So get a common exponent. So get a common exponent. Our next step is to always change the bigger exponent when you're getting common exponents. So those are kind of really the same step. And then what you should use is the arrows to help you use the arrows that we talked about before. Then once we do that, we actually subtract the whole numbers. Okay, so subtract the whole numbers. Keep the exponent the same. So keep the exponent the same. And then you put the final answer in scientific notation. So if it's not, make sure you put it in scientific notation. Okay. So let's look at this first example. First thing we need to do is get a common exponent. So our common exponent, we want it to be the smaller exponent. So that means we are changing this exponent and we're making it smaller by 1. So that means 1 spot equals 1, 0. Okay, and why I knew it was 1, because the difference between 4 and 3 is 1. Okay, which means that I move this over 1. So this becomes 50 times 10 to the third. And we keep our 3 times 10 to the third. Now that we've changed the bigger exponent, now they're the common exponent, and we used our arrows, now we subtract our whole numbers. So we do 50 minus 3. And 50 minus 3 is going to give us 47. And then we keep our exponent. But 47 is not scientific notation. So we need to move it from decimal from here to here. And since we're moving it out to the left, we would also move this out and add 1. Okay, so since we're moving it out, now we're adding 1, and that is 4.7 times 10 to the fourth. So put in scientific notation, let's say add to exponent. Okay, so maybe that'll help. That should be the really only difference from adding. Adding scientific notation does the same thing. So, but yeah. Okay, let's look at the next example. So we have 6 times 10 to the negative 2 minus 4 times 10 to the negative 5. The smaller exponent is really actually the bigger number, in this case because they're negatives. So that means we're changing this 1 by 3. So we're making it bigger by 3. Okay, so there should be 600 times 10 to the negative 5. Okay, and then you do 6,000. Sorry, it should be 6,000. Dumb, Miss Myers. So 6,000 minus 4. So you have to do 6,000 minus 4. And if you don't know what that is, use your calculator or do subtraction. And I get 6,995. So it's 5,996 times 10 to the negative 5. That's not in scientific notation. So we have to move our decimal point 1, 2, 3 times. Okay, so since we moved it 3 times, we need to add a 3. And that's how we're back to negative 2. Okay, so we're going to do 1 or 2 more together. And then, so we're going to do A and B together. and then I'll ask you to do C, D, E, and F, and then I'll put the answers up for C and D. Okay, so we'll go through these next two kind of quick. So we always keep the smaller exponent. So that means we're changing this 6, and we change that by 2 higher. So we change that by 2, right? So this becomes 600 times 10 to the 4th minus 3 times 10 to the 4th. So 600 minus 3 is 597. Right? So again, I did that by doing 600 minus 3. And then we have to move it twice. Since we moved it twice, add 2. So we have 597 times 10 to the 6th. Okay. Our next one, we changed the bigger exponent, so we're going to keep this 2, which means this is changing by 2. So it becomes 300 times 10 squared minus 2 times 10 squared. 300 minus 2, so we're doing 300 minus 2, and we get 298 times 10 to the 2. We have to move our decimal place twice, and since we're moving it out, this gets moved out as well, so we add 2, and we get 298 times 10 to the 4th. All right, so as I said, I want you to do C, D, E, and F. So pause the video and do those. After that, I'll have C and D up, but E and F we'll check in class tomorrow. All right, so hopefully for C, you got 4.2 times 10 to the 5th. So again, we move that over once, that's how we got 50. 50 minus 8 is 42. And then you have to move it over. For D, you should have gotten 2.994 times 10 to the negative 2. Okay. And just be really careful with your negatives. Remember, the bigger the number is, the actually smaller it is. So that's why we changed this negative 2. We change it by 3. And then move back to the negative 2. All right, so remember, do E and F, and we'll go over those in class tomorrow.